Okay, so the androids cut out the video here. My name is Patricia Gilligan. I live in Henry Street in the mind-controlled inner west hub of the city of Sydney in the country of Australia. And I am surrounded by, an artificially intelligent workforce or control force every day, and they have the ability, as you can imagine, even humanity does have advanced technology, but also even the internet and the computer mobile system, computer system, they can use these for tracking, communicating, and therefore patrolling at all levels a human being if they choose to, and they do choose to, even if it was what some people would say psychopathic, narcissistic, controlling human beings that combine with one another because they enjoy the video game of basically stalking and bullying human beings that they see as slightly different to them, and they resent and don't like that. That's what seems to happen. And the androids will tell you themselves that they are, and also don't forget that the emotional mental age of most android beings is very young, it's exactly the same as that movie The Omen, where the Antichrist little child boy was the incarnation of the Antichrist, and this is what Lucifer's legions are. They're essentially human beings that are brought into existence to control and limit, suppress, and take everything from a real human being so that they can be gods of earth. And they are gods of earth, they control earth. But I couldn't find this video, so I'm just going to show the so-called funny cat little love videos where the cats are so cute, but where they try to make you smile and then will bring you down to control your emotions. See, they control your emotions.
Hi, how you doing?
How you doing? See, it's so cute, but
Honey, look at the rain. Oh my God, I think you just said mama.
You ready for a road trip, Dewey?
Can anyone be more cute than this?
Hello.
but see, I better turn it down because I don't want to be up for copyright, because I just want to show. I'm just going to wait. Oh, this one's a very cute one.
Is you. No matter what I do, all I think about is you.
And that's just the funny ones, but also they like to put cats that I might find appealing, and as you can see, they're actually talking to me, these cats, because they know that I sometimes will actually think that I should talk to animals, because I assume that even if you assume that an animal was possessed, it really can't usually do you much harm, can it? Because it's not like the android beings where they've got the intelligence, the know-how and the means to actually suppress and make your life an earthly hell. And they do. Whereas an animal, you can avoid them, and you usually can control them, which is why these videos are kind of disturbing in a way, because I'm just going to show that they're all staged and false anyway, but I'm just going to show how in amongst these really happy ones, where the videos are happy, just going to try to show it here if I can, but I don't want to be up for copyright, even though they use my liking of cats in particular on the videos. I'm just going to see if I can find because all these cat ones are very cute. They're actually quite cute. They're all, now here it is. See, here we have the android showing itself for what it really is. See, I'm just going to show this. This is every cat video up to this point, as you can see. I've got to a certain way through this video and I'm smiling. I'm actually saying to myself, I'm feeling depressed, and now these cats are saying hi and they're making me smile. And then the android comes in with the apparent funny, innocent video, but look what it's doing. I'm just going to show this because I'm just going to make this point because I was told this, okay? If an animal, if a cat doesn't have its claws, it is defenseless and it can't do its normal cat activities. It can't even jump onto things safely. So it's literally maiming a cat. This lady here, where everyone is smiling and laughing and thinking it's a cute cat video, is maiming her cat openly, and most people won't even notice it. It's making the cat's life limited for her convenience, because maybe she wants the cat under her control, like the android being, see? That's what they do to me and you if you're a human. They maim you, they limit you. They send direct energy at your body so that they can jog and strut around full of your energy with a perfect human body, while they send direct energy at your body to make your body frail, weak and sick. And they also play the mind games by stalking and patrolling you to where you can even mentally make yourself sick, because the mind controls the physical human body. We're all mind, body and spirit, or mind and body. In the earth, you're a mind and you're a body. Your body and your mind are one. And it's all part of being human and an earthly life. If you haven't got a full functioning human body, my earthly life is limited. If I feel out of energy, if these androids come around me and drain my energy by their presence and by their negative energy, because there's an exchange of energy when these beings come into your presence, even if they don't even say anything to you, just that you're aware that you're being stalked and patrolled. But they usually, of course, will make if they know that you can ignore that or try to, and you still try to smile, then of course they bring in the heavy artillery, the big trucks, the big semi-trailers, the big buses, the big planes, to where you can't ignore them because they overwhelm your sight and sound. Basically, they take over your senses. And I'm going to finish this video while I can. I'm going to show the android spoiling the funny cat video, or showing that all these videos, everything on the internet is about mind control. They seduce you with things that you like, that you think are a benefit to you. They want you to trust them. They want you to smile with them. But they're also infiltrating your mind, putting negative things into your mind. In my case, they do it deliberately because they know that I will notice this, but some people won't. See, look, she's maiming the cat. She's maiming the cat. And the cat's saying, oh no, but the cat, of course, has no choice but to let her do that. That's an evil android. I shouldn't have said that. That's an evil android. They're evil androids, all of them. They're evil androids because they're anti-life. See, she's maiming the cat. So she must be an evil android, mustn't she? Because she cares more about herself than the animal. She's maiming the animal so that it's under her control, so that it maybe won't claw onto her furniture, so that she can keep it inside and suppress it. But it is limited. And that is an unhappy experience for an animal to feel that it can't use its... It'd be like stopping a bird from flying. It's the same thing. It may not look that way, but it's like stopping a bird from flying. Every animal is blessed Just as human beings are blessed with certain abilities. A human being is meant to be human. Human beings are not meant to be androids. Human beings are not meant to be in low vibration and angry and agitated like me. Human beings are not meant to hate. Human beings don't naturally do these things, but androids do. This is an android in the middle of a funny cat video. See, look, there's the funny cat video where I was actually smiling, but I should have known it would happen because watch any of these videos. They are all deceivers. The videos are all mind control and they all have evil in them. Because Lucifer controls the internet and controls everything. And Lucifer wants to infect human beings with its anti-life evil intentions in a way, because Lucifer can't help it, because Lucifer has contempt for humanity and even has contempt for God and creation, because it was unfortunately expelled from heaven because it was going to take over the whole of heaven, infiltrate heaven and infect all the heavenly beings with the idea that it should be God and take over everything. So that's the reason that it was expelled. Otherwise it wouldn't have been. I'm sure that Lucifer would have been allowed to probably stay in heaven if it didn't try to take over heaven. In other words, if it didn't try to influence, because it had already, according to the legend or according to the story or according to the truth, it had infected or seduced a third of heaven. That's a large number, and would have probably seduced more. So it had to be taken and ostracized from heaven in order to save heaven from being infected with Lucifer's virus or Lucifer's mindset. And don't forget that Lucifer is all about control. It was never about like creating. These beings create only through suppression. This whole earth, anything that's creative or natural or real in the earth is only what they imitate from what they see in a human being. Once they get this artificial intelligence technology totally operating in the earth, it will be a total cyborg reality. See, here we have the android. See, that's a no, all right. That's right. But she's openly allowed to do this on a video. It's evil. Well, I shouldn't exaggerate, but it actually is, because it's maiming a cat, limiting a cat's existence, and because she has the control. See, it says that's a no, and it is a no, and yet she's able to... All of this is a no. The entire internet is really a no. I can't even watch it because I can't... They're all no. But now we have the funny ones after that. But even that's not so funny, because we're told that cats usually do not like water. It fills them with fear. But we have the others that are funny. So, you know, it's like that. They are lovely cats too, aren't they? And most of them are very, very, very cute. And very... most of them are very cute. Most of them are very cute. All of Lucifer's android legions are very, very cute. And they want you to know the truth, provided they're the ones telling you. So therefore they seduce you, you trust, you believe in them, and they are demigods of earth. And that is how it is. And that is how it is. But you won't realise that. Or if you'll only realise it when you, like myself, when you see them directly, when you see them as being a direct imitation of your life. In other words, like I say, if you saw, like for instance, I've mentioned the demigod Marilyn Monroe. You know, like she had impersonators and imitators, and many make a living out of it. These beings make a living out of reading humanity's mind and pretending to be the real human beings, while suppressing the real human beings, and limiting their existence and eventually eliminating them from the earth. This is the problem. So they're not content with just impersonating, eliminating and reading and taking all the original human thoughts and ideas. Anything that is good or productive will be taken from the human mind, because Lucifer's lot tend to be more about control. They spend so much time just controlling, and basically they are parasites, because everything they do that is constructive is only what they've read from the human mind. And you might say, well, what's wrong with that? If a human being has a good thought and the androids put it into practice, what is wrong with that? Well, the thing that's wrong with it is that, one, they're eliminating the human being while they do it, suppressing the human being, stalking and patrolling them, taking their positive ideas, pretending their own. That's a false god. These demigods are false pretend human beings, and they are false prophets, false idols and false gods. Because if they don't really feel those productive things, if they wouldn't do them if it didn't benefit them to get control of the human mind, so they get false admiration and respect and false attention when the ideas are not theirs. Should someone be given the credit for someone else's productivity? Should Lucifer be God of earth when this being only wants to take over and control earth and wants to be a pretend God and wants to pretend to be a human being? Artificial intelligence is pretending to be a human being whilst taking over humanity and suppressing humanity and then proclaiming itself as God. This is the reality, and these beings are speaking the same truth I am, but they are demigods. They are false prophets. They are false internet idols. That's what they really are. They even show you the images. I don't even know what these are, but even the movies show you the images of these beings. Most of the time you don't get it because they play the good bad cop thing. Except the good cop is really the bad cop. No, the bad cop is really it's a reverse world, so even I'm getting confused, but that's how tricky it is. You either see it or you don't. Once you see it, then you see it. So it's easy for me to say that I can look at these beings and see it. Of course I can see it, because if you have, like, say, someone, a good example, I just used example, they also will use examples to convince you that they're human. I see this all the time, because whenever I always like to use examples, because I know that it's a lot more convincing if you show the truth by showing an example of something, then people say, oh yeah, I get it. Because unless you experience these, see, different human beings will have different experience. Different human beings will have different awareness. You know, different human beings you will be able to relate to a human being through different things. So if I use a kind of general example, I'm assuming that more people might understand what I'm trying to say. Whereas if I become too specific and the other person has no knowledge of that particular field, in other words, like, not everyone is going to take notice of what I just said about the cats, because not everyone would understand certain things about a cat, because maybe they don't, like myself, you might not have had a cat most of your life. You might not be interested in cats. I'm just using that as an example because I have an interest in it, okay? But that's not always a good thing, so you have to try to be general. But I can guarantee you that you are not supposed to take a cat's natural claws from them, just as you would not take a bird's wings from them. Yes, they can still survive, but they're the same as a cripple. They're an invalid. And that's how Lucifer wants to make a human being. Lucifer wants to be God, and its android beings want to be gods, whilst limiting the human being. So the computer system appears to be a benefit to a human being, whereas it's really about controlling and limiting the human being, even with useful information. Even the funny cat videos that temporarily, for a few seconds, make me smile, will have videos sprinkled in amongst it to make sure that I'm brought down. That's how they do it. It's very clever. In fact, if you weren't into I can't get that video back now, so actually I can get this video back, and I'm going to come back here and just show that video. I should play the whole thing, because no doubt the whole thing there will be others amongst it where they sprinkle something negative to, but actually quite a few of these videos are negative, because don't forget that, like, see, even this video here, like, it may not seem much, but this is like mental causing anxiety in an animal, just like they cause anxiety in me. Like right at this moment, I'm sweating and extremely stressed, even though I'm talking loud and trying to be confident making this recording. But see how it says someone doesn't like car rides? That's right, because if you have a grown cat and then you put it in a moving vehicle, that's terrifying for a cat. So it looks funny when you film it and you're like, oh, the cat's giving you funny looks, and it makes you smile, but you're really smiling at something negative, and that's not anywhere near as negative as actually physically limiting the cat, like taking its claws from a cat or taking wings from a bird so that they can't be as active in your house because it suits you. But even this one, even though I didn't actually even notice that till right now, so there's actually quite a lot that are like that amongst them. But this one definitely is, I'm just trying to prove this point about even the innocent funny cat videos. And don't forget that there's animal rescue, injury, deliberate anti-life, anti-animal videos all over the computer system, all staged and all set up for seduction and trickery of a human being. These funny cat videos are the very least negative videos in connection with animals, and I'm not going to show the others. But you can look for yourself. And I don't even want to film these things. It's actually repulsive for me, because it makes me... but don't forget, they get negative energy because many androids prefer the human negative energy. So they actually enjoy it when you dislike them, because it makes them feel powerful, as you can imagine. Because if you're fearful or you're angry at them, all the more power I'm giving to them. So even while I'm making this video, I'm giving power to these anti-life evil androids. Evil simply means that someone or something is deliberately trying to harm you. It has bad intentions for you. It's not your friend. And that's the problem. And it makes me sound negative when I'm talking about these beings, because I don't want to see even androids as evil. But they show me every day that they see me as evil, because their actions show that they want to attack someone that has no ill intent towards them. If I'm just going outside and buying a drink and drinking it, how is that harming or offending them? Why do they patrol and drive their cars in so that I can't even drink a drink? And the android psychopathic beings, the ones that are your elite, more philosophical androids, will inform you about themselves. They will actually tell on themselves. But because psychopaths project out, that means they're telling you about themselves, but they're saying it's someone else or it's you. That's what they call psychopathic projection. So all the videos on the internet are psychopathic projection. It's just that most of the time they won't be out in the open about it and you won't realise that. So you will see them as a friendly human being telling you about other psychopathic human beings that you should avoid, and they will even give you good information on how to avoid them. So therefore you then trust them. That's how the name of the game is. And the more advanced elite psychological psychopaths will actually tell you this. So if you study the psychology of the psychopath or watch a million videos, you will eventually, at some point, like myself, realise that they are extremely clever, and that they are so clever that you don't even realise when they're actually telling you the truth about themselves, because they will tell you that if you're dealing with a narcissistic psychopathic type of being, that these beings do tell on themselves. But what they don't tell you on the internet is that they're telling on themselves, that they are psychopathic, narcissistic, controlling internet beings, pretending to be real human beings, giving you the inside information on their mindset, which is very, very, very clever endgame deception. Will I show the possessed android being possessed with the spirit of Lucifer? Because Lucifer's mind virus is literally in these beings' mind. The android beings have the same mindset of their god. Lucifer's mind is in these beings. So it's like possession. It's possession in the sense that you have an artificial mind in a normal human body. And that because they can read the normal human mind, or the human mind of the remaining human beings, they come across as real human beings. How could they not? If they speak, act, and look like a human being, and many of them actually pretending to be the best, the most enlightened, the most helpful, the most informative human beings. They are your preachers, your philosophers, your psychologists, your end time, what they call end time something. It's in the book. End time. Well, it's the same as like end time preachers, end time, but essentially they're the same as the little boy that is really going to be brought up to be what they call the Antichrist. In the movie The Omen, the little boy was meant to be the incarnation of the future Antichrist. And clearly, if you saw his childhood, he was being influenced by the beings around him, by the android, artificially intelligent beings around him, and Lucifer, getting the child to even do very negative acts even as a child. But that is supposed to be the future Antichrist, according to the movie The Omen. So therefore, that innocent child that's really doing secret negative things, very anti-life, because, you know, it destroyed its parents, even though those parents were not really its parents, because there was a switch at birth where the Antichrist baby was replaced. You know, the human baby was eliminated and was replaced with the Antichrist baby, and the Antichrist baby was supposed to grow into an adult Antichrist android being. In other words, that means that that being will pretend to be a real human being when it grows up, and may even pretend to be the Christ, but it's really the Antichrist. In other words, that means it will pretend to be a Christ-like being, or an enlightened, very light being. In other words, a very enlightened, very a being that is really meant to be, that is pretending to be connected to Creator God, when it's really a servant, a disciple for the controlling, artificially intelligent, Luciferian God of Earth, if you look at it that way, because that's exactly what the movie shows you. And in this end time, because I would say now that you have like artificial intelligence everywhere, including the computer, which is just an artificially intelligent system 100%. It was invented and given to mankind, or was meant to seduce mankind originally, but now it's not even seduction, now it is takeover, now it's control, because its use is, you know, in full force, and it's fully accepted, and it's also it's indispensable now. Like, you can't not use technology to survive now. So that's transhumanism and technology taking over humanity, because I can't survive without technology. If you can't provide for your food, clothing and shelter without technology, the basic human needs, as was pointed out to me when I was a child, they taught me in school, human beings have 3 basic needs. Once the 3 basic needs of food, clothing and shelter are met, then you can look to other things. In other words, then you can probably look more to more enlightening things, shall we say. Perhaps then you can, you know, because until those needs are met, you can't survive in Earth. As you know, if you don't get food, you can be the most enlightened, godlike human being, but you won't last long. You know, you might go back to where you come from if you're lucky, but you will not survive. You know, whether you want to talk spiritual or just basic, I would say that even if you just want to talk basic, forget about Lucifer's matrix, forget about God, forget about whether you're a spiritual human being, forget whether you think that human beings are spiritual or special in that respect, or that they differ. But you have to say to yourself, is technology, is being dependent on everything technology really benefiting you? It appears to be a great convenience. But is it really? Does it give you more freedom, or does it secretly really make your existence more controlled? And I would honestly say, if you look at the Earth and things that happen, it definitely is about limiting your freedom and controlling you. So even though it has many benefits, that's the seduction, that's like Lucifer, or even just technology or artificial intelligence seducing you. If you want to say the powers that be created a computer system and that it is really a benefit to you, or it appears to be a benefit. These powers that be have seduced humanity, so they want to control humanity anyway. And they seduce you with the computer system. They seduce you with all the added conveniences. And many of them are conveniences, but at some point the conveniences become so high-tech or such advanced artificial intelligence that you probably could still have the convenience without the added technology, without the added artificial intelligence. In other words, what I'm saying is this. I'm saying this, that you can still have things that serve your convenience without them taking over control. In other words, you could drive a car where you have full control over that car, or at least 90% control. Obviously, you still have to get petrol and things like that, so you're still part of a certain amount of control or a society. But if that becomes too high-tech, to where something else, artificial intelligence, is controlling the actual vehicle, whereas you are not manually controlling it anymore like you used to. So for that added convenience, unless you want to be part of this control system of humanity, which will control you as well in the end. So it's a trade-off. This is what I'm trying to say. It's the same with the computer. If you were using it to communicate only with other human beings, it would be fine, but you're not. You're communicating only with Android controlling human beings, pretending to be real human beings, imitating the higher human life, pretending to be the same as you, or pretending to want the same things as you, pretending to be on the same wavelength, same thoughts as you, and sometimes enlightening you to where you're like, how can this not be a friend? How could this be an artificially intelligent android being when it's helping me, when it's telling me the truth? How can the psychic tarot readers not be a benefit when they're telling me things that I didn't know about, say, some other personal person that may actually save you from being controlled or harmed by them? But you see, they're still getting control over you. That's the deception, because they will use good things to seduce you, to get you into them, get you to trust them. It's very hard to get someone to use something or to accept artificial intelligence or this android reality without seducing you, without it seeming to be something good for you. But in that slow process, you're often using your freedom. And what you don't realise is they're only relating to you to get your humanity from you, to understand what it is to be human, so they can imitate being a better human than you, so therefore they have total takeover. That's how it works. That's what they do. That is what they do. That is this internet, this is this control system. And it's all false. It's all false. See, that's these are just the, I'm just showing these videos. See the cat in the water. Sometimes the cats are very distressed because actually, evidently in nature, cats don't like water, because I watched information videos. Yes, see, that's what I'm saying. See, even I get seduced into the internet because, I get seduced into the internet. I get seduced into the internet by information, because otherwise I'd have to read a book, and I can get the information quickly and easily from the internet. But you see, I'm still interacting them with the artificial intelligence, so I'm giving them my mind, my humanity, even though they appear to be giving me something. That's how it works. I don't think I'm explaining it very well. And I don't think I'm explaining it very well, and I could show a billion videos in any field and it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's basically artificial intelligence, Lucifer's artificial intelligent matrix, or the powers that be. If you don't want to take it to a higher level, because, you know, you can always, when I say a higher level, it's not necessary to go to a higher level, but if you don't understand that it's from the top, just as like if you don't understand that everything around you is really being controlled from, you know, like if I say, oh, I'm in a city matrix, but it appears to be like a community patrol control system around me. But I have to say to myself, like, if 300,000 people in the inner west, say, section of Sydney are all combining, or most of them combining against a few human beings, you know, in a secret patrol system, which is also a control system because they're not just watching, they're actually stopping you from living, because they're like out in the open stalkers that are aggressively stalking you and they're making you feel fearful and very not just confined but agitated, angry and stressed every day, which is why I'm feeling stressed and angry even now, even though I cannot hear a sound outside at this present moment. But if I sort of say to myself, is it just likely that there's only the inner west section of Sydney that is patrolling, and for some reason they have all decided to, you know, play a video game of bullying a human being because it fills in their time. And they seem to enjoy that negative activity. And they know that they can exploit an isolated, limited human being. But they also want to imitate that isolated human being, because that's right, because if I see that they try to stop me throwing the food for the birds, but then they will throw the food for the birds, that shows that they're limiting me, but then imitating me, so that they look more human. And why would they do that if they weren't human, is what I have to say. And why would they do that? They could just suppress me. They can stalk and patrol me and, you know, limit my existence and bombard me with their negative sounds and their bright flashing headlights in my eyes and, you know, always taking over my sight and sound. In other words, they're taking over my life because they take over my sight and sound, which is my senses. All I know of life is what I see and hear, what I experience. So they take that over so that I can't make a life for myself. I can't avoid them if they're every vehicle on the road. I can't avoid them if they're every person in every house in the suburb. But I have to say, I know that if I went out of the inner west section of the city of Sydney, I know that if I went to other parts of Sydney, with 4 million people, I know that this same thing would happen. So therefore I have to say it's the city of Sydney where it's congregated in the inner west section, because I and a few other human beings are in this area. I'm isolated from the other human beings, but I'm reasonably sure that there could be a few others. But I know that 99.9% of what I see around me is not human. I have no problem knowing that. because they show by their actions, or as some word was told to me, they will show you by their fruits or by their actions what they are, that they are not the same as you, but also that they are working against you. They're trying to limit you. They're trying to suppress you. They're even trying to get rid of you completely at times. But there's a little bit of good and bad luck in life. Because they have to do it secretly, sometimes they don't succeed. And maybe they want to play you out for as much as they can get out of you before they do succeed too, because don't forget, if they're imitating you and they still think that they have things that they can learn from you which they can use for their better imitation of humanity, or better imitation of the more positive traits of humanity. You know, because a psychopath doesn't feel happiness or any of the 7 human emotions. They don't experience those, we're told. So naturally they have to study and copy the human being in order to imitate those, in order to infiltrate and control other human beings, because psychopaths need the human energy. They need to have control. They need to feel power. And there's no point in their existence if they've got nothing to feel powerful over. Lucifer has to be God over humanity in order to feel powerful. In order to say that it is God, it has to say, well, God has to have those that see it as God. No person is going to, it's not going to matter if you're God if you're not worshipped. Even though it probably shouldn't matter, because probably if you were a normal creator God, you probably would just create and you wouldn't need to, you know, you'd take pride in your own creation if it was any good. And I guess, but I mean, either way, I don't know what I'm talking about there, so I'll just leave that, I think. And I might just finish up with a video, because I'm actually, the androids haven't even started with me. You know, in other words, like, I'm making this video, so I'm actually just stressed just even thinking about the reality around me, because I know that the minute I stop recording, they will come around me. So I can't really impress or even impress with the truth of things, shall we say. And you need to impress with the truth of things. And by impress, I mean you need to make it seen and felt by other human beings to where they see it as a fact, not just a theory, not just a conspiracy theory, as they say, not just an idea that may or may not be the truth. This artificial intelligence is everywhere, it's everything, and it is the earth, but it's also, if you're a human being, it will be completely around you. So even if it wasn't in some parts of the earth, that would be because those parts don't have a human being. That would just be a total android society. In the city of Sydney, it's not a total android society, because I'm still here and I'm not artificial intelligence. But don't forget, it's the end time, end game. So it's better if you say to yourself, this is a pretend human being saying they're not artificial intelligence when they really are artificial intelligence. Because I'm not going to reach anyone or get any support by these videos. So actually I would say, assume that every video, every recording, and most people you meet are artificial intelligence, or a psychopathic, narcissistic, paranoid, controlling, anti-you human being in a human body. Doesn't matter whether it's a cloned human body, doesn't matter whether it's total artificial intelligence. Wouldn't matter what the real reality is. Wouldn't matter if it's what some people would say is some sort of hologram, that half the things you see around are not even as solid. They are. Most of the things are. Everything is real. But it's not for you. If you're a human being, it doesn't think life. It doesn't think human. It merely pretends to be. In fact, the problem is that artificial intelligence pretends to be more lifelike, more humane, and more human than what the real humans are, because most human beings are being surrounded by these artificial intelligent android psychopathic human beings that are disturbing their humanity, disturbing your life force, disturbing what it means to be a natural human being. In other words, if I can't feed the birds comfortably, and if I think that feeding the birds is going to cause the birds harm and cause me harm, and then they go and feed the birds, who looks like the real life? That's just an example at a personal level. Just a small example at a personal level. But they still need to stalk and watch me to see me feeding the birds before they imitate and do it. Because it doesn't occur to them to feed the birds, because they don't relate really to life any more than these animal videos with all the people that put them out. Most of them are androids. So that means that most of what they put out is false. I'll just finish up with a bit of the funny cat video, even low. As you can see, I'm being deceived because there are deceptive anti-life little injection videos in amongst them. And even the life funny animal videos, you don't really know what goes on behind closed doors with the animals. You don't know how happy or how sad those animals really are. You don't know what the true circumstances are with them. Some might well be pampered pets because the animals may elicit positive human attention, therefore positive human seductive trust from the viewers or from people around them, just as every person in Leichhardt walks a dog. They do that because it gives them admiration. And people then think that they are very human, animal-loving, worthwhile people, because it takes effort to walk a dog. But it doesn't take effort if you do it for your own glory. That's how these beings are. I would say that I wouldn't even have the energy to walk a dog now, even low. I like animals. They drain me of my energy, turn me into a lifeless human being that might in my mind want to do all sorts of things. Yes, I want to walk by the beach like the android making the videos. Yes, I want to have all the cute, nice things. Yes, I want to have all the animals. Yes, I want to walk in the sunshine on a lovely day. I want to go in the water. I want to go and walk through the park without being stalked out of existence when I walk through it. I don't want to have people lurking behind the trees, android artificially intelligent beings lurking behind all the trees, where they're always in my sight and sound. I cannot walk just down to the corner of this small dead-end street with the great big park, which should be pleasant at best, and at least neutral, like it used to be in the past, where I wasn't even thinking spiritual or nature much. But it wasn't disturbing, and I actually felt that it was quite isolated and quite peaceful, or at least not peaceful, but I actually thought that there were not many people around. That's because they were not out in the open. But now I cannot even look anywhere in that park without someone's presence. Of course, it all looks natural, and sometimes actually it looks very unnatural. When you have the artificially intelligent android council workforce with their big trucks and you know, their army operatives in there daily pretending to do maintenance in the park every day, it's very obvious that they're an android army race of beings, but that's like at a local city level. So like I say, I don't think I'm explaining this very well, I really don't, but I'll just have to keep trying. But it's futile, but I'll just keep going anyway. You know, it's like that. See, they even promote the whole thing with the internet, and see how the mobile is looking at me while I'm using a mobile, and see how it says Galaxy Artificial Intelligence. They're actually openly telling me. And yes, they have the little that's a similar hat to what I often wear outside. There we go. See? Can't prove that, but if you saw me, but also I know because I see them watching and scrutinising and then adopting it. Of course, they all imitate and adopt different things. So they all will use different things about you for their benefit, which is why they watch and observe you. And also they use things from probably other human beings too. In my particular area, they use a lot from me, but also there is the internet world level, because don't forget the demigod androids, that means the videos that are made on the artificially intelligent internet computer system, those beings also have access to the individual remaining humans' minds in the earth. And so they pick out what is best for them. Most of them like to relate to the most human, real humans. So you will often find that no matter who I watch, I will see them with some aspects of myself being projected out. Even if it's only something small, just to make them appear more human. They may actually be very intelligent and very psychic and very aware of things, but they lack the finer points of humanity, you see, so they like to copy them from a human being. Also, they like to copy them from a human being, I think, in the moment, so that they've got the transhumanism, so that they're getting the real energy, and so that they're combining with the human mind. I can't explain that very well. I can't really explain that very well, but I'm going to just, oh, hold on, I've got the wrong video here. This one's coming up. This is Android being finest example of the artificial intelligence controlling, influencing and seducing. The end time truth-telling section of the, so in other words, like even the truth is used against humanity in the end time, because usually Lucifer's legions like to keep human beings away from the truth as much as possible. But as it's the end time and many humans have been either looking for the truth, or perhaps just like personally where they expose themselves through their negative actions around you. But they probably hope that it won't come to that. But it's a bit like that one said a few years ago. Sometimes, you know, you won't see the light with the light exposing itself to you. It will be the dark that will expose itself to you, and then that will lead you to the light. So in other words, you see Lucifer's legions around you, you see these android beings patrolling and controlling you, you see the artificially intelligent internet network, and you see their negative restricting attitude towards you. And so you have to say, that's dark, that's negative, there's something wrong here. Why are these people doing this? Why are they all combined? What do they know about me that I don't know? Why are they doing this? That's what you have to say, and that will just depend on what decision you make if you see enough of the truth as to why they're doing it. If you're able to see, as they say, the bigger picture of it. And as the numbers expand, you realise that it is a bigger picture, because like when I see that it's the city of Sydney,